All right, it's on.
All right, so let's get into it. People got no attention spans. All right, zero attention spans for people.
Zero. So let's dive in.
Right, basically, if you have any opinion right now, there's no way that you're not either being attacked for being stupid or being racist. There's no way. Like, pretty much, if you have any opinion, right, especially, like, even if you're being positive, yo, it's pretty much like,
Yeah.
especially if you're black and you're positive, it's like, oh, no, you're obligated to be angry. You're
Yo,
supposed
you.
to be angry.
Yeah, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. For real.
Yeah, like, there's literally, there's,
Yeah.
like, there's no opinion that you can take without offending somebody right now. Like, it's really best to just, I mean, see, if I even say it's best to do something, that's
Yeah,
an
I was about to
opinion.
say anything you say in this podcast,
Yeah.
somebody will be angry about. So like, it
Yeah,
doesn't even matter.
Because people are so emotional, they're not listening to anything. So
Everybody's just throwing temper tantrums.
it doesn't really matter what's being said either way. It's so emotionally charged. Like, if you say, like, anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're like, man, we got to stop the injustice, boom, terrible. Somebody's going to get at you for being that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's terrible as far as, like, the wave of people that are going to come at you. And then if you was like, yo, this joint is a hoax, you're going to get another wave, a different wave. It's like, it's equal, though. It's like equal. It's like an equal wave of hate on any stance.
Like, no matter what you say or do. Because if you don't say anything, then you're being silent. But then if you say too much, it's like, you saying too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feeding the problem or whatever. I don't know. Just somehow, some way, you're wrong. No matter what. I just don't get, like, who made people, like, how do they get to validate me or not, or you? Like, who's like, well, I've seen so many people post, like, I see where my real friends lie. I got to unfollow a lot of y'all because y'all not even. I'm just like, yo, this is so crazy that, like, this platform has become, like, a dictatorship like this. Like, what?
Yeah, right. I mean, like, and then you got motherfuckers like Biden basically telling you, like, I control your identity. If you don't do what I say politically, I control your motherfucking identity.
Hiding from Biden.
Even though he wrote Reaganomics, which led to millions of black lives being ruined because it created, it fueled the prison industrial complex, which is slave labor. So, and my man was like, "Oh, that was just a mistake." Like, bro, your mistake cost mad people lives. You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of suffering happened because of this.
Yeah, there's probably people still in prison right now from the crack epidemic. Like, whether it was murder or whether it was, you know what I mean? Like, there's somebody in prison right now.
Oh, for sure.
Because of, you know what I mean? Because of the crack epidemic. And, like, the mandatory minimums and everything that came with the Biden legislation, like, I just want to say that, you know what I mean? Like, just for one, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people on the political side, whatever you want to pick for it, I feel like this is something the black community gotta be aware of, man. Like, he can say sorry. Yeah. He can say sorry and that they changed it once Obama got in by 2009. You know, they changed the mandatory minimums or whatever. But that's like, how many years? That's like 20-something years after Reaganomics, and then all the damage was done, and people ain't even doing crack like that no more.
Yeah, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not an epidemic.
He's like, I'm sorry, but I'm also the savior because we changed with my mistake that ruined millions of lives. Like,
right.
Like
that didn't happen.
And you're not black if you don't vote for me. That's like, that's the craziest shit. So on the political side, that's kind of where I stand. You know what I mean? Like, as far as that, you know, I wish Ron Nefer wasn't born in Honduras.
Man, if he could be president, imagine how, like, just imagine that. Just imagine how, like, free flowing it would be.
The most sane person in America, probably.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I wonder what he's like up to right now in this very moment. But yeah, I mean, there's so many people that are like, oh, we need Obama back, and, like, you know, saying fuck Trump and stuff, and it's just like, they're all puppets at the end of the day, for one. But, like, all the Democratic states are the ones pushing the masks. If we're gonna go into that.
Yeah, and then, like, on top of it, right? All the Democratic or leftists, I'm gonna just say leftists. You know what I mean? The people that are liberal, leftist, all of those cities and states, they're all pretty much like, nah, tell the police to stand down. We don't want the National Guard in here. Let's let this shit escalate to a crazy proportion so the media can keep covering it, so that more people riot, so that there's more black people getting killed. Yo,
yeah,
a few black people got murdered over, just the last few days, just because of this shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think that all right. So if the George Floyd thing, right, that shit is true and everything. I don't think George Floyd would be like, yeah, man, I'm glad this caused all these deaths.
Yeah, I don't think that's, not at all. Not at all. I don't think that was supposed to be the outcome that he would like from this.
So you got all these leftist states, like, to me, they want the shit to escalate, and there'll probably be a lot of staged events from here on out. But I feel like
there's already been so many.
In 1973, Richard Nixon ordered a coup d'etat on Chile, right? This guy was like, let's pay motherfuckers to go into the streets to riot. Mm-hmm. And again, you got Biden bailing people out that was rioting.
Nice.
Right. So Nixon was like, we're going to pay people in Chile to go into the streets to riot. And then we'll get the media, which we can control. We get them to cover it, to make it mushroom, to make it seem like this shit's happening everywhere. You know what I mean? So then people in Chile, one thing led to another. The Chilean president ended up dead, and then we just raped Chile. You know what I mean? The globalists, the globalists raped Chile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, as far as what I'm seeing with this thing, it looks like a coup d'etat.
Yeah.
It looks like a coup d'etat.
For sure. I mean, there's so much like staged things happening here. Like, to think that it's just like as simple as, like, for one, just to like back up, how is there no COVID spikes right now? People are literally on top of each other with masks on, looking crazy. But like, what? Come on, man. Like that, there should be like an alarming rate of COVID being spread right now, if that shit was even what they said it was.
Yeah,
for one, and then you just got all the stage like protesters and everything going on. I mean, so much of it just doesn't even look, I don't know, like you said, and it just seems like a big temper tantrum. Like the whole country is just like throwing a fit.
Yeah, but like you
and nobody's saying, like rationally thinking at all, like about like actual root core changes we could make here.
Yeah, meanwhile,
like no one wants to go inward. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to do that.
You can't beat the colonists while eating their food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on.
A lot of people are just burnt. Yeah, right now it's a marathon as far as like doing your part to make the shift better for the world or whatever. It's a marathon, man. People burning their energy out now, and it's like, oh man, y'all don't even realize these next 6 months is about to get crazy.
I'm about to say it's just beginning. Like, are you?
Like right now we're at that point in the roller coaster where it's still clicking, going up, like click. Like we still in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
shit hasn't even gone down yet.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like what we're facing here is it'll probably be like a fake mass shooting.
The aliens or something.
Yeah, I mean, on a simple level, to escalate the race thing, it'll probably be a fake mass shooting, and they'll be like, it's a white supremacist group. Probably, you know what I mean? Or there'll be like an attack on the power grid, and then if people can't call 911 or turn their lights on, then it's just going crime is just gonna go through the fucking roof. You know?
Insane, yeah. People gonna lose their minds.
Yeah, and so I think that's kind of the issue. Like I don't think that they'll do it to the whole country. I think it'll be sweeping different areas at once because they need people to be able to, get the shit back online and record. Have their phones and then upload it in a couple of days. So it'll probably go out for a couple nights. Right. Then people act stupid, and then that's probably how it would go. And then I feel like, like it'll just be maybe waves of that, but. That's what I'm seeing as far as the next thing. And then the alien invasion shit, that's probably coming.
Yeah. It's just wild to think about how, like, since March, right? Like, we've all been glued to a screen. Like, for months now, we've been just, like, screen time is crazy.
It's ridiculous, yo. Because, people ain't at work and shit.
But right? And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's just, like, everybody would rather tune into that. And it's just, like, stop eating these. Like, how are you watching this and eating Chick-fil-A? Stop.
Like if you're really about to be pro-black, you need to definitely stop eating colonist food. You know what I mean? Get as much sun as you can, do as much breath work as you can. Do community gardens, whatever you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Community. You know what I mean? A community ammo bank. Whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do, like to where you are sovereign throughout this process.
Yeah, like
so
properly fueled, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I think that's probably how it should go, man. I mean, it's not. If 44 million black people got together, they could really create their own country. I don't see why.
That's what. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, imagine if all this energy that's going into this, which is so like, how many we've not that like these things don't work, I guess, but like, how many times are we gonna do this? Like, if we just all like broke off and did something else, you know what I'm saying? Did your own thing. If black people were just like, you know what, we're gonna do our own thing.
Yeah,
everything would crumble.
Yeah, because there's people right now seeing like the BET dude, the founder who sold it to a white guy.
Yeah.
He what's his name? He was asking for $14 trillion in reparations. I was like, yo, look at that.
For real?
That's yeah, right. I'm like, that's a cool idea, right? But why don't you just ask for like 14 trillion and I would just be like, let me get like half of California, half of Texas, half of Florida. You know what I mean? Like, and then be like, give us all like 100,000. Because if you give us money and then you dilute the currency and then this 14 trillion ain't worth nothing, then it's like, yeah, you got your 14 trillion in monopoly money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's 44 million blacks. There's 1,000 billions in a trillion. So like, I feel like if you just give people land and enough money to operate their land, and then then they could create their own thing. As far if you're really trying to get reparations, I feel like
that would be true. Like winning, if there's like a win-loss here, like that would be the true.
Yeah, because land produces. Land will continually produce, and money can go up and down.
Yeah.
So I feel like
stable.
Yeah, black people would have to really just pool their resources at this point. You know what I mean, and pool their knowledge. Because there's so much knowledge across the community of 44 million black people that is like kind of not being shared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like terrible because
it's like so much energy being used. Like you said, like it's just like wow, we redirected this to like breath work. Like if we were all like, hey, we're gonna breathe every night for like 2 hours instead of just like protesting.
That'd be terrifying for colonists.
That would be like surreal. Like imagine that if everybody was in the streets just doing breath work, or at home. You don't gotta be in the streets, but
yeah, just changing the whole algorithm of the world.
The whole pressure of the entire everything.
All right, now let's just delve into this, right? Because people gonna hate me either way. So if we say it's a conspiracy, right, and that there was no EMTs, which is obvious, and then the gas price, the diesel price is 99 cents when it's like $2.38, and like, there's a bunch of fishy stuff with the footage, right?
Yeah.
So we say it's not real and it's a conspiracy. Like you have to say what the dude is. I know a lot of people saying he's a Mason, but do you think that guy is evil enough to do that, or do you think that he just didn't know that it was going to get used this way?
Yeah, I don't think he would know it get used this way.
Yeah, because I got the confession tape of Lloyd England, right, who's a black dude. He got used in the 9/11 conspiracy, and he confesses. You know what I mean? Like he's like, yeah, man, I didn't think it was going to be like this.
For real?
Yeah, like it's like a 14-minute video. I can send a link to anybody that wants it because YouTube makes things difficult. It's on my searching right now. It's like hopeless, but it's on my YouTube. If you search, it's like Lloyd England taxi cab confession.
Should probably go look at it now before it gets taken down.
Yeah, I will send anybody the link. Lloyd England, he confessed. He was like, yeah, because he was the taxi cab driver that said that when the plane came through and knocked the light poles into his cab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the trajectory of the plane, there was no plane at the Pentagon for one, right? So the trajectory of the plane, that whole theory was reliant on his testimony or his position in the thing. Like if the light poles don't hit his car, then 9/11 is an inside job. It's that simple.
Yeah, he was the key component in that. I remember that.
Yeah, so it's called 9/11 Confession, 12 minutes in. It's on my Lord on my channel. So if the truth's probably going to make it difficult for y'all, I'm going to post a link. But the dude confesses, man. His wife was in the FBI, though. So I don't know how entrenched he was in this thing. But as far as a black dude being low level and kind of getting used in the thing, I feel like it's possible, like with that history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on another side, if it wasn't staged, do you think that they just used, because you got nine people got killed this year and last year by 9 black people got killed that were unarmed by the police this past year. 435 total, 9 unarmed out of 44 million. It's less than 1%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, right? So
is that just like what we know, though? I mean, like, how do we know that?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's the FBI reports. You know what I mean? That's the FBI. You know what I mean? Figures lie, liars figure. That's what they say, though. All I'm saying is that if you got at least 9 in a year, you probably don't have to wait but a month, 2 months until the next one. So, like,
right.
You think they just waited for the next event and then just exploded on it? They cut up the footage because a bunch of footage is missing.
From that?
Well, yeah, you don't. After they take him, when they take George Floyd across the street, you don't see nothing until you see him get choked.
Oh yeah. That is true.
So like whatever happened in that period is going to get released during court, and you don't see the news at all picking up that first footage when he drops the drugs.
Yeah.
You don't see the news picking that up. So right now it seems like they're just shaping this narrative, like, yeah, this guy, you shouldn't.
Right. Just creating this whole narrative of like the race war. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, this guy was totally not doing anything wrong, and he was murdered, right? And I'm not saying he should have been murdered even for having drugs on him.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I'm saying that the media is picking and choosing right now. Like, we're gonna paint this guy up. We're not gonna show that other footage. We're not gonna show the drug footage. Even though it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not. The media is not picking that up and running with that at all because it's not popular. So like, it's like the same thing with Rodney King to me. Like Rodney King got, he got beat by 12 people, and when they were in court, they only showed the part where he's like trying to get up and run, and they were like, "Look, he's lunging at the police. Look at that,"
Yeah. They're gonna paint the picture they want you. Yeah, for sure. It's the same exact narrative.
Right now, they're painting this picture so people can riot, and then once we go to court and you try to get 4 different convictions, it's gonna be tough, right? You're trying to get 4 different.
That's one thing I'm not even excited about the charges because it's like, okay, now they got to get convicted.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, I don't know. I don't have that much faith in that, to be real.
Yeah. So then the footage is gonna come out, that footage that we haven't seen, and then they're gonna just say, he had fentanyl in his system. He had the drugs on him on the camera, trying to dump the drugs, and. He was a porn. They're gonna smear his character crazily. He's a porn star. People talking about he's amazing. None of that's being said now because they want to say it later.
Yeah, completely.
You know what I mean? So that he could get off, because they're gonna expedite the trial so that it happens before elections.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say that. Actually, I was gonna ask you that. Like, do you think they're gonna do it sooner than later? Yeah. Definitely.
So then on top of this whole thing, you got Hillary. She lost
Hillary's over here just totally losing. Man, how is that nowhere?
Yo, she lost her appeal, so now she gotta testify about them emails.
Yeah.
And it's like once that becomes like in the public realm, and you can make a Freedom of Information Act to get the discovery, like, because the 600,000 emails are gonna get released, right? So they're gonna get released at some bullshit time, probably. So it's going to be difficult to run through all of them. It's probably so much criminal shit in it, though, that it's still going to come to light.
It's going to be like when the power outage stuff happens. It's going to be like, oh, by the way, these are available only in these states or something stupid.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I think that she lost her appeal, so they had this. They had the Blackout Tuesday while she lost her appeal. Yeah,
because does anybody know who even started that? I don't know who was like, what, this is what we should do. Like, who started that?
What
the Blackout Tuesday? Like, whose idea was that?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trusting that.
It's probably some Jack Dorsey shit. Jack Dorsey is a lame. The Twitter dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lame. He cut up the Drew Brees shit to make it more inflammatory. Like, he was like, let me cut you in the middle of your sentence to make it racist.
For real?
Yeah, and people really attacking Drew Brees. We shouldn't even be giving a fuck, man. Hillary Clinton, basically, she went into North Africa to destabilize. While Obama was president, she was the Secretary of State. They went in there to destabilize Libya and North Africa, and you had the Arab Spring. You know what I'm saying? All that happened under Obama. You know what I mean? So all of that's probably in the emails. A lot of that stuff.
For sure, yeah.
Because Gaddafi was like, I'm all for Africa. I'm trying to, be for African unity and that they just didn't want that. So,
anything but that.
yeah. So basically, they did a coup d'état in Libya. And Hillary was involved. They call it the Benghazi scandal or whatever, and all of that would have to come out. So that's happening, and then you got Obamagate, the meddling or whatever, the illegal wiretapping that Obama was doing. So that's all coming out, and it's like Blackout Tuesday.
Yeah, like we're gonna distract you like entirely. It's just crazy how easy it is. Like the influence of the social media shit is crazy.
It's wild, yo, because people are so isolated now.
And like people just have like no direction. So as soon as somebody says go this way, they just go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, and people so isolated, don't got nothing to do, they're not at work. It's just wild.
That's why it's so important to have the breath and all that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like scary, kind of like wow. Like is that easy to convince all y'all? Like is that easy?
I mean, they all got parasites, so the mass possession is like, since they all have similar parasites, the parasites working in the network.
Yeah, for sure.
To mass possess. But, so Hillary got to testify September 9th. You know it's probably going to be some September 11th shit to like try to drown that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got Bill Gates saying, the next worst thing would be is if we had a terrorist biological attack,
He said that?
Yeah, he just said that. He's like, I'm worried about COVID-2, and I'm worried about a terrorist he said it on Stephen Colbert.
COVID-2, though. He, like, named it already. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
What?
He's like, second wave? It's the second wave? Oh, man. Like,
he is the worst.
I don't even think that we should kill him or imprison him. I just think everybody should just be able to smack the shit out of him. Like, you know what I mean? For the rest of his life.
Like just everybody just go in line. Yeah.
I feel like that'd be better.
Definitely.
But, what was I gonna say? So I don't know. I guess that's the grounds being covered here. I feel like so that's the hoax side. That's the if he him knowing the police. For me at first, you know what I mean.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, a friend of mine had died. So I didn't really jump on this shit at the time. I was like, man, I was kind of more consumed with that when it happened at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm not. You know what I mean? People die every day, B.
Yeah.
My man just died. I'm kind of like thinking about that, right? And then they just, then this shit. So I kind of got late on it. But when I first, heard that he knew the cops, I'm thinking like, was they all selling drugs together and then they just killed him because he knew something?
On some drug stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like, because, I don't know, man. You don't work that long with a person at a nightclub and not know, especially Minneapolis. It's a small place, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know what I mean? And shit just don't add up, Shit just really fishy, you know what I mean? It's as fishy as it could get, man. It got that 9/11 vibe. Like,
that's what I was thinking, actually. It really does.
9/11 happened, and it was like, you can't say shit because...
Yeah, no matter what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're in the wrong.
You're offending the people, you're offending the troops.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you couldn't say shit. It's like you handcuffed vocally.
What does the Tao say? Patriotism is born when there's chaos.
Yeah, when the country's in peril.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah.
It's just the natural side of the thing, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. What do you think about the actual protests and like the curfews and stuff going on? As far as like, do you think like it's all real as far as the protesters go?
I mean, I've seen a bunch of stuff. How true it is. I mean, you got Biden and them bailing motherfuckers out.
Right.
So obviously this thing has some type of structure and funding.
Definitely.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's what makes me think it's so planned. Like, I just feel like this is so a plan.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people posted Craigslist ads of like saying like, "Yo, we'll give you this much money to go and loot."
For real?
Like, yeah, I've seen that. I don't know how real it is though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I feel like maybe that's possible. I mean, like I said, in '73, Nixon paid people to riot in another country.
Right.
So it's just like the nature of the coup d'état. Like, not even. It's like an old play. Like, it's not even like.
Yeah.
It's not even new.
Yeah.
So like.
It's been done before.
Population desperate as fuck. They ain't at work. You know what I mean? Everybody's scavenging. It's like if they think they're gonna get some money and they feel like justified in their cause and doing it, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
jumping
at that, like without a hesitation. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like, Black Lives Matter is George Soros, and and George Soros and Hillary is tight. So I mean, it just looks bad. It looks bad. Like they constantly trying to use black people's energy.
That's what it really like. At the end of the day, that's really what it feels like.
That's the only way you get change, really.
Yeah. If you really go through the history of time, yeah, really.
Yeah, like, because you don't build the country without the black slavery.
Right.
And then, you don't build, that's why you needed to have forced segregation, have Rockefeller-funded people like MLK come in, force the segregation, and then you have deindustrialization so that once they're forcing the segregation and they're separated now, that now it's less jobs for black people, and then you have they funnel the drugs in, the government funneled the drugs in at that time, so then there's more drugs on the streets than ever, and then people have no jobs now because you moved all the jobs offshore because you gave an incentive to, and then you have Reaganomics, which is written by a motherfucker like Biden. So
what that creep.
So now it's no jobs, abundance of drugs on the streets. What are the young black people and Latino people? What are they going to do? They're going to sell drugs. It's going to happen. Not everybody, but it's going to happen. So it created that pressure cooker to where they have to sell the drugs to survive. And then now you get locked up with the mandatory minimums for like crazy time.
The cycle and system is wild.
Because of Biden. Yeah, and so now you have this prison population that works for like 70 cents a day or something. And then, so that's the slave labor. They create all the military uniforms so that the uniforms say made in USA instead of made in China. So that's the only way that you can like fuel the wars, and keep infecting people and keep people going in and out of jail. And I feel like it's just like it's a major plot that's happening, and the momentum is so crazy that you gotta step back and really see and do the history on some of the things before you like get emotional on it, because you just gotta see it. You gotta see it for what it is, what it really is, and how like people get played off, and it's like they use black and white here because a large black population, but it's no different than like. You go to a Muslim country and they be like, no, we're going to separate the Shias and the Sunnis.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing.
It's the same exact thing.
Yeah. So, it's just used this way here. And, like, Americans just don't know the blueprint because they never seen, like, dictatorships or communist regimes. Like, you got Antifa. I've seen a lot of Antifa people was, like, communists and clamoring for communism. I'm like, yo. You only saying that because you never experienced that, bro. Yeah. Like, you do not. Communism killed more people than anything
ever. For sure.
As far as government killings go.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't know why you'd want to be communist, man. And, like, the more America became communism through the corporate welfare, the more the dollar lost purchasing power and everything. So, like, to me, it's funny that you had 170 years of the Federal Reserve, and then Trump nationalized the Federal Reserve. 107 years and no president being able to do it. I mean, JFK tried to. We saw what happened to him.
Yeah, right.
So, like, JFK, Trump finally nationalizes the Fed, and that's the first step towards financial freedom for the country and the people of the country. And as soon as that happens, Corona blows up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Corona
no coincidence there.
Yeah. So then, it's like it just seems like a constant. You got that happening, and you got these trials, Hillary and them. They pushed the blackout thing. They changed their profile pictures and had the blackout masks, Biden and Hillary.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and like they just use them. It's so offensive to a black.
That's what I was just about to say. That like it's so offensive, really, when you really look at it for what it is. Like. The way that they're just using the energy like this, like, and then black people are just falling right into it because, like you said, they're just in an emotional state and maybe don't even know better or like want to look at the picture bigger.
I mean, a lot of black people are angry and justifiably so, and they just don't know how to deal with that anger.
Like, I'm not justifying anybody getting killed for no reason, especially black people. It's been happening forever. Like, for sure, I'm not saying that's cool at all.
I mean,
it's just like
it's like if you know someone's angry and then you go picking at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's pretty much what like I feel like Hillary and Biden is doing in a lot of ways. Like, come on, you ain't black if you don't follow this agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like if you get people that's angry in a direction, it's just you can't talk to that. You can't talk that down. You can't negotiate with that. You can't. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you do with that?
And there's so much like that energy is so rich. Like black people's energy is so rich.
Yeah.
So it's like. Yeah.
Would you wouldn't have been able to build? I mean, as terrible as America has been, I still rather live in America than a lot of places on Earth, man.
For real? Yeah, me too, actually.
I mean, there's places on Earth that I could prefer, man. Just as far as my ideals, as far as warmth and fruits and stuff. But like, as far as like, I guess certain opportunities in America, man, it is doper than a lot of other countries. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather be in I don't know. If you were black and you were under an Arab regime, it's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's even worse. You know what I mean? Like the trans-Saharan slave trade, what Arabs did to black people and stuff like that. Like it's really worse. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like, you picking your poison with their, picking.
So overall, it's all horrible. You know what I'm saying? And like, it
just feels nicer in America where you could at least like have guns. Like if the shit, because if we didn't have an armed population, motherfuckers would be going door to door right now.
Yeah.
But they know like, there's people on the other side of these doors with guns.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's the only thing keeping this shit from going that way. Like, because if not, they'd be going door to door. Criminals are gonna get guns one way or another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to look at the American government as a criminal organization, they obviously get guns and sell the most guns on earth. So criminals are gonna get guns and sell guns. It's gonna happen. But at least in this place, you can arm yourself, defend yourself. You know what I mean? A little bit better than somewhere else. Like, I don't know, a lot of places.
Yeah.
It's a total gun ban in Mexico.
That's
and
wild.
mad gun deaths every year, but it's a ban there. Like how? Because it's a whole trade going on, man. Like it's a whole thing. They constantly use the different populations against each other. Like Obama got caught running the guns to Mexico. They had Operation Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. And the CIA agent got killed, and that's when it came out. Like, oh snap, they've been running guns to Mexico to fuel this cartel. And they just tell you stuff. They just tell you stuff to insult your intelligence. Like, no, we were doing it to uproot this other cartel with this other cartel. And it's like, y'all been doing that everywhere in the world, just funding terror
forever,
groups.
For years.
Yeah, they fund terror groups, and then they get other terror groups to take out that terror group, and then they get other terror groups to take, and they just do that repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like the Mujahideen, we funded them, or American government funded them, and then they became Al Qaeda, and then it's like, then it's now it's like all fueled and funded. Like they just constantly
just recycling it and changing the name of it and whatever. Yeah.
They armed the rebels in Libya, and so that they could kill Gaddafi, and it really is looking that way, man. Like, regardless how you feel about Trump, man, if they were to kill the president right now, the supporters would go nuts.
Oh man, it would be wild.
Yeah, and then the people that don't support him, they'd be all like gleeful in the streets, and it would just be. I feel like it would create even more bedlam. Like no matter what you feel politically about Trump,
no, definitely.
Killing a dude would make shit go to another.
The Civil War would just escalate even more than it already is.
Yeah.
It would just get insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like if he really wanted to do martial law, he has his excuse. Why hasn't he done it?
Yeah.
Like if he really wanted to have military in the streets in every city.
Yeah, like what's stopping him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
look at what he's already done so far. Like what's stopping him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, why does he want to keep the trap house open? He like, nah, let's open up. You know what I mean? He's been constantly trying to open up, and I feel like a lot of leftist places, like Illinois, New York, the mayor of New York, his daughter got caught protesting. I feel like that's why they are caught in the riot, I guess, amidst the melee. So, like, that's why I feel like a lot of the leftists are saying, like, telling the cops to stand down because they know their kids are out there in it.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
definitely.
know what I mean? That's probably what, a lot of it is, because the same thing happened to, I think it was the governor of Illinois or mayor of Chicago or whatever. Somebody, Chicago and New York, they had kids that got arrested. You know what I mean? So I think that they was like, nah, stand down because I know mine are out there. And Trump, meanwhile, is like, if you keep letting people get away with shit, they're going to keep trying more and more and burning more and more. And, like, he can't send the National Guard in unless the governor asks. So they're pretty much just like, nah, let us stand down. And then you got places like L.A. didn't do shit when the motherfuckers was burning shit.
Yeah, right.
But now it's broad daylight videos of people getting pulled out of cars and shot at. And, like, why y'all pick your battle now to do this now? You didn't do this when it was, why didn't, now you want to be over aggressive in these times when there's no need to be over aggressive and create the curfew and all that. And it just seems like they just want to create staged events, more inflammatory events, So I feel like it definitely seems like a full-on coup d'etat, and it's just going to get more and more interesting. Like, there's no point in watching Netflix. Like, life is a movie, yo. Like, there's no point.
It's literally the most entertaining thing you could get right now. But as far as that goes, how do you, like, what's up with, like, December 21st? Since obviously that's, we halfway there now. It's approaching.
Yeah, we're getting to the top of the roller coaster with the clicking. You know what I mean? We're sitting in, that silent part where you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where we at right now with the next eclipse coming after this one.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just the nature of change, man. People they're not seeing the signs because they're just so in their feelings. And the breath is not in their body. They're not aware. They're not out of breath. The breath is out of them.
Really though.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. And I know a lot of people listening are probably just gonna be like, whatever. Like, what is the breath work really gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, shit, man. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, that's just the whole thing. Because if you're not breathing, you're not conscious. If you stop breathing, you're dead and not conscious.
Right. So it's really simple.
The more you breathe, the more conscious that you are, more you're in your body, and the more you fully inhabit it. So I don't see.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Fungus is colonizing people's brains, and then the world got colonized.
It's a total reflection.
So then now the more that people are trying to combat that reaction to the internal colonization, the more that they fuel it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you gotta really close your fucking eyes.
Yeah, go inside and breathe.
Yeah, and shift the fungus, because you got, if when this shit comes down December 21st, and you have to deal with all of the traumas throughout your lineage that may have happened in the last hundreds of years or whatever, and all the emotional stuff that happened in this lifetime, and you got to deal with that all, like, at once.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what the December 21st is about? Because I know some people probably don't know.
Yeah, December 21st, all the planets will be in a straight line. And it happens every 6,400 years. This is the pre-alignment. This is why this is happening. Like, because you got the smaller planets, they line up last. The bigger planets are the bigger planets are all getting in that alignment now. They're all, you got the retrograde motions for a lot of the bigger planets, and that's going to end, and then they're going to click right into place. And then the smaller planets, they're going to click into place December 21st, and you'll have all the planets in one straight line, and that's basically like the natural reset where everything just resets. I'm assuming that it's going to be a complete purge. Yeah. That you'll have a light spectrum expansion or restoration, I should say, to where there's more light in the air, more electricity in the air, so each inhale is more nourishing. So whether you're conscious or unconscious, every breath that you take is detoxing you. And so you're going to be going through a massive purge, if you haven't been purging already. Yeah.
And a lot of people, I don't think will be able to really survive that.
It'd be like a terrible mushroom trip. All at once, you know what I mean? You're going to want to blow your brains out. Yeah. And that's the bird box effect. And so that's pretty much what I'm seeing is that you'll have maybe you'll have your alien invasion thing. Your angels falling from the higher realms, and maybe some demons coming up from the lower realms while they can, because it's going to be that reset period where it's like open game until it, restarts. So it's like everybody's going to advance in the ways that they can. Maybe it'll be like a energy grab from the lower realms in that period, and then they have to return once that reset period's over. They'll have to return back to their lower realm, and the upper realm, maybe they'll come down and energy grab, maybe bring people back, maybe come back down here to colonize and pillage. I don't know. But see, the only way that you can even get what I'm saying is if you look at the cosmic egg theory, and look at Universal Disclosure by Martin Kenny on YouTube.
Yeah, watching that, man. I remember you sent it to me back like last December, I think. And I was like, oh shit, 2020, what is this about? And it's just crazy to now be like in it and be like, oh shit. Shit is real. Like,
yeah. So I got hit the flat earth in 2015. And by 2017, 2017 I ran into Martin Kenny, and I was like, yeah, this is the best flat earth model I've ever seen.
His videos make it make sense for anybody that's probably skeptical.
Yeah. From that point on, every day has been more magical. And when I first heard about it, I was like, yo, I want to get money and bitches and live my life and travel. And I don't want this to be true as real as this fucking feels.
Yeah.
That's where my mind was at the time. I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. Like, this feels so true. It's kind of like blowing my shit. Like,
like you're kind of ruining the party right now.
Yeah, like to find out about it. But now I'm glad I found out about it then, because now it's like, oh shit, this is really going down. Like, this is really happening. You know what I mean? Like, because if you see the video now, people will probably think like, oh, this is just, I don't know, whatever they think. But if I've seen this from years out to watch like the creep to this point, it's like, oh shit.
You kind of almost wish it wasn't true.
Yeah, at some level, but at another level, it's like, this shit gotta change.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's gotta happen though. It's necessary.
Yeah, because all of the injustice, just in general, to the melanin, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's the thing that people don't want to admit. Like, like whether they be Arab or Ottoman or Persian or white, Nordic, whatever, Western European, whatever, everybody their ancestors are black, and to be white is a mutation.
Everything comes from that, yeah. Yeah,
so white people are mutated black people. Yeah. And
they're just so far, the melanin is so eaten away at.
Yeah, because the fungus.
The parasite.
Yeah, and so like if we can get through that ugly truth, then we can get to the other side of the beautiful truth. Yeah, yeah. So
nobody wants to start there. Everybody wants to like there's a big push for like all these black-owned businesses and stuff, and it's just more consumerism though. Like, why don't we just like stop consuming so much? How about that? But nobody wants to think about that. They just want to like switch consumerisms, and I'm like, I don't think that's the point, guys. Yeah, I mean,
because that's the thing. Is like, black people that got parasitic in their ways became white people. So that's how it all happened, and that's what the fungus wants, is to create status and separation, so that there'll be some black people reducing their energy, and then they can jump to them as a host, and then they can keep them doing following that suit. And it's like, if black businesses was like selling herbs and yoga mats and
shit like that.
And, those straps that keep you in lotus position, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be like so much better for the black community than
soul food, slave food.
Yeah, because you can't have bleach white flour, white salt, white sugar, and think that you about to fuel a revolution with that. I
mean, you can look at probably, so anybody who's listening, any ancestors of yours probably look darker in the older pictures than they do right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's evidence right there. Like, when they were born, they were probably way more dark or more brown skin or whatever. And versus now at 80 or whatever, they're probably very fair or fairer.
Yeah, just more. The fungus just taking over more and more.
Yeah.
And if we can get past that point and realize, like, look, man, we're breathing in dark matter. We're breathing in melanin, and the sun is ultraviolet, ultra purple. It's melanin.
Yeah.
So like, if you can do that, if you can realize that, and then the whole detoxing thing to like realize like that light is information, and that dark people have held on to that information and like inherited it throughout time, and it's just so much of it is dormant, and that if they just activated it through the breath work, that their needs would totally shift.
But people just want.
Yeah, that's
the
thing.
shitty part.
Like, I feel like with black people, they'd be like, yeah, I'm black, but I'm not like live off the land Africa black.
Yeah,
They're trying to make you a consumer so that you need them.
Right, you're gonna depend on them always.
That's why people call it the consumer rights movement, not the civil rights movement. It's all consumerism. Like that's the trick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be that's the whole service society thing. You know, people that want to go Democrat, if that's their idea. If you look at Bill Clinton, he removed the Glass-Steagall Act, which allowed all the lending fraud, which created all the bubbles, which creates all the poor pockets of society. Then he created NAFTA, which North American Free Trade Agreement. So then that is another thing that contributed to the offshoring. People just like, well, I'm just gonna leave America then and pay some brown people to be my slaves then.
Right.
Like they wanted to create a population of people that no longer grew their own food and fixed their own cars. You know, they wanted you to work at Foot Locker and Target and just go towards this digital bullshit.
Yeah.
And so if you got black people as a population more concerned with acquiring land to grow food that is that resonates with the melanin,
sustainable, that's gonna actually nourish yourself, and
then doing breath work on that land, and you know, just
like that would ultimately like shift so much, man.
That's what it's about, man. That's really what it's about.
Not about like support this hair salon and support this soul food place and support like this furniture place. Like all that's cool, but like that, what is that? You're still staying in that trap.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's like, why don't you create your own? Work towards getting land so you can be a sovereign nation, like Native Americans have done, but better.
Yeah.
And then you create your own money, own sense of currency. You know what I mean? Like it's just a great. You shouldn't be spending money with slave traders on it anymore.
Yeah. Period.
You know, like you should be more concerned with acquiring land and then creating your own economy that you already have, but you know, just shift it.
Yeah.
You know, shift the black economy to things that are pro melanin.
Right.
And then, you know, then it would just take off. Then you have your own sovereign nations within the country. I mean, that it has no choice but to appreciate and value because the melanin is there.
Hashtag pro melanin.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so
that sounds way better than most of these hashtags I see.
You don't be asking for entitlements. Don't be asking for debt forgiveness. Like, the shit's an illusion already. Like, fuck that shit. Start working towards land and land that produces. And those type of things. You know what I mean? Like, because this is, you know, that's not you trying to get entitlements and get reparations from you know, really, you going, if they gave you money, best believe they're going to dilute the currency so that money can't.
Yeah, I mean, they're ultimately still in control of that. So even if you move your money here to this place, like, you're still using that money that they gave you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like, just, you know what I mean? It's a whole process of just value, you know, shifting the values. You know what I mean? Like, they got everybody concerned. They got everybody, all the black people concerned with, you know, high levels of prostitution. You know what I mean? Athletics and, you know, things like that.
Singing, dancing,
entertainment.
All that stuff.
Like they say, man, a lot of white people don't even like black people unless they entertain them.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I think, like, if every black person just dropped out of all of those things, all those things would fail. Athletics alone would just be like, well.
Yeah, it would take like 8 years to create Negro leagues or people of color leagues, whatever, and then have black owners and all black media and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Like, it would take like 8 years because you could just harvest from the historic black colleges and universities, from the HBCUs. Yep. You can harvest from them because as far as that level, that's D1AA, FCS or whatever, that level of athletics produces the HBCUs produces the most professional athletes at that level.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you just take the HBCUs and say, look, we're already all black, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We might as well
like
just harvest the best players from this, right?
And start this league.
Creating the league. And then, the first 8 years will, not be as pleasant for the players as they might have been for the NFL. But if you go and, go lay the foundation for 8 years and then you stop being a player or you play longer, but if you go from a player's position to management position, and then you just let the league grow and grow and grow,
mm-hmm.
and then now you have more money to where you can get those higher echelon players from D1s and bigger schools, or just expand HBCUs, whatever, and you can have your own sports leagues. So, because the athletes is the ones that's selling you all the drinks and the foods and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, like, once you shift all of that, and then you get the clothing, the drinks, and foods, and they're all, like, melanin,
like,
I guess.
Enriching.
They all complement.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, you control your own athletic. Then you're not, like, prostituting. You're not on a trade block, and you don't have an owner anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's all slavery.
Same with, like, music. Same with all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense.
That is modern day slavery. Like, there's no
feed the infrastructure that's there.
Argument about that. Yeah,
that's what I feel like. That could be that. It wouldn't take much time. You know what I mean? Like 8 years would go by fast if you spend it
mm-hmm.
building a future for yourself, your family, for the people that look like you.
Yeah.
Like it'd be way better than one dude trying to go to the NFL so that he can make $20 million real quick and then try to feed his family and the black people that are close to him.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And
because like that's just such a like drop in the ocean. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it also brings down the quality of play in a lot of ways, because then you got people like Jamarcus Russell and that other guy that was a defensive tackle for the Titans and the Redskins. They were basically like, look, I got my big deal. I don't care. I'm gonna play terrible now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, if you could just get all of this energy in one place and create a Negro League or people of color league, nobody will watch an NBA full of Larry Birds. I don't care what anyone says. Larry Bird was good at basketball. I will not watch a league of Larry Birds.
Do you think, well, I guess I was going to ask a devil's advocate question, but the answer really comes down to, like, again, like, complimenting the melanin. But, like, just in general, as far as, like, black people coming together, you always, like, at least the narrative we know so well is, like, in the hood, obviously, it just becomes chaos at some degree. Like, all that energy is bound up. And it just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much energy.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think it could be successful? But, like, then it's like, if they actually, you know what I'm saying, if black people...
That's the problem.
Continue to grow the melanin.
Like, the problem and the values are in prostitution
mm-hmm.
and the identification being with the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very attached to that for sure.
Very attached to being this person.
Right.
So, if the values were to go more towards breath work, which is spirituality. Like
that, I don't think that hits people hard enough. I need people to realize, like, that is spiritual. Spirit is breath. Like,
you're not into spirituality if you don't do breath work.
Period. Like, you can't do any of those other things that you do if you're not breathing properly.
If you're dark skinned, your ancestors did hella breath work back in the day.
Yeah.
Generations and generations ago, they did hella breath work. Yeah. They all knew about the value of the breath, and then you inherited the fact that they maintained their color through the breath work and things like that. They maintained it, and then you inherited it. And the spirituality that you do have is basically them, which is you, because everything is cyclical.
Right.
Ancestors is children's ancestors.
Yeah.
So the reason that you have any connection to spirituality is because somebody along that line was into breath work and maintaining the breath. That's what keeps the color.
But if you just continue in this value system that's set up now, it's like you're getting further and further and further away.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, it's all status, man. Like, it's all a status thing. People want status. Like, when that's totally the illusion shit. Like, like
you said, just total attachment to this, like, identity, to this body. It's like, man, y'all, everybody's so much more than that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Or so much less than that.
Well, yeah,
Less
yeah.
being
You
more.
know, no, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a crazy thing to see because black people really are, from my experience. Because I'm glad I got afforded the experiences that I got having black family.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, to finish
they're
off,
really
I
gentle
guess.
people. Really gentle people.
I was
really
gonna say,
love
for
it.
you and I, like, how do you feel like all this? I mean, I don't know.
I just feel like, look, if you want to riot, I'm not gonna get in your way.
Right. yeah. I'm over here drinking juice.
I'm not gonna snitch on you.
Right.
So
I'm kind of just minding my business.
Yeah, cause I can't say I'm black because at some level it's gonna offend your experience. Mm-hmm. But at the same time,
I'm not white.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And nobody really is.
Right.
That's the whole white supremacy thing. Nobody is white. Motherfuckers is beige and pink and yellow.
But it all stems from black.
Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all light black. So that's the problem, I guess, is that my hands is really tied because I have practical solutions, but you got to look past how my face looks.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like anything I say, like we were saying in the beginning, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, especially because of how we look and then our upbringing and whatever, blah blah blah. I just feel like until you get detached from this realm of like bodies and stuff, then you're not gonna be able to digest anything that was said in this podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
you're just gonna be like, okay, these two mixed people or whatever you want to label us as.
Then listen to Raul Neferman say the same thing. Listen to Bobby Hemmett.
Man, I posted a picture of the Medu Netter and somebody was like, I'm so mad that you haven't spoken out about African Americans. And I was like, yo, look up what this book is about. What?
Yo, people that's why you just gotta have compassion at some level because you're like, wow, you really don't know.
Yeah. Like it's really just like, let me hold your hand over here. Let me guide you over here.
Yeah.
People, yeah.
Because they just don't realize how black of a place this information is coming from. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that we got privy to it is because of the blackness inside of us.
Yeah.
The only way that I will be able to make it through the Medu Netter and get to the point where he's talking about the breath work is if I read 300 to 400 pages of him talking about how everything is coming from blackness.
Yeah, literally. The whole Medu Netter is pretty much saying that, but
you got in order for you to get to that point, you got to earn that shit.
Yeah.
You got to read through Kanan
that
being
book
black.
That book will literally test you. Like
Sumer being black, all of that. He goes into the whole thing for 300 or 400 pages, and then he's like, all right, if you made it to this point, and
this is how you breathe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So only way that you could get through that is if you tapped into the color at some level.
Yeah, that book will definitely make you challenge you and make you wow, do I know how to read? For a lot of people, I think at first if they pick it up, they'll be like, I don't really even know what this is saying.
Yeah, and I've seen it, man. I've seen people that aren't ready for it. Even if they buy it, they can't.
Yeah,
read it.
No, I know mad people that have started it and they're just like, man, I don't. Nah.
It's like he sets traps, in a sense. This is such precious information that you need to have a certain level of respect for yourself and a certain level of detachment to where you're not emotional and you can just read this.
Yeah, which he says in the first one, but whatever.
Yeah. I feel like that's the issue.
You're not your emotions.
Yeah. You know, it's you're observing emotions and thoughts. You're not those things.
Yeah.
And that's the toughest part because people have been trained, to identify with their bodies so much and to strive with their bodies, as far as to be the thing that's being sold.
Yeah, again, the prostitution.
Whether it be imagery or whether it be athletics, even if it's drug dealing, at some level you're putting your body at risk for the prison industrial complex, which is slavery. So and then if you're selling poisonous drugs to your community, then it's you like a different kind of prostitute, but
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know, just to get even more, it's just and drugs don't always have to be what we think of when we hear the word drugs. You know what I'm saying? food.
Your body don't know the difference between legal ones and illegal ones.
Exactly. So
your body not like, oh, it's salt. This joint legal.
Right. If you selling tacos, steak tacos on the corner, like you still a drug dealer.
Yeah, it's just a sanctioned drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and so
yeah,
that's kind of where we at. I feel like that's the tough part to read into it, because I know people want you to behave a certain way. They're like, look, you lost your black card, you ain't jumping on the fervor.
Right.
And it's like, you know, at some level, I really only owe allegiance to the black people that's my ancestors that I know. Like, I can't speak for all black people, and I can only hold it down for that.
And then I just I feel like there's just this crazy pressure on like other, like, you want me to say something to bring some peace of mind to you or something. Like, I don't really know what, like, you know what I'm saying? What you gotta do the work. Like, you gotta go do the breath work. You gotta go inside. Like, nothing I really, you know what I'm saying? I could say a lot of things, but it's like, I don't know, just this expectation of us, I feel like, and other people that maybe have like a little bit of a following to like speak up about it. It's just like, why are you like sitting here worried about that? Like, man, Taylor hasn't said anything. Like, what?
Yeah, no, the reason I didn't even speak on it first, because a friend of mine, like 38 years old, my best friend growing up, I known him since I was 5, my black uncle, who's my mom's brother, introduced me to his family when I was 5 years old. He was basically family to me, still is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, like, my uncle our uncle grew up with his dad. They was like brothers. You know what I mean? My brother even fought his brother. That's what brothers and families do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this dude, right, he died at 38 of a heart attack.
That's crazy. So that speaks volumes itself, like that alone.
Yeah. Dark-skinned black dude.
Yep.
So, right, this is the thing, right? When George Floyd's happening, this is happening in my personal life. I'm like, damn, like, this dude, you know, I feel the pain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is, like, somebody I've known for 25 years, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, like, I know it's killing his brother, like, you know, who's my best friend. I know that shit is, like, it gotta be crazy, because I'd be like, man, my mom lost brothers. Her older brother got shot. He black. Our mom's black, by the way. Yeah. So her older brother got shot. He's black. You know what I mean? She lost another brother. Like, she's lost her nephew, our cousin, who was like our brother.
We lost a lot of people in our family.
He was shot and killed. You know what I mean? So, and a black person killed him because of the prison industrial complex. Because of the whole situation. You know, it's a larger situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not. You know, if we could just like really like look at this shit, man. Like, this man was 38 years old and died from a heart attack. It shouldn't be happening.
Like, that shouldn't be even normal. Like, that should be like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. And it's because you can't be that black and eat that food, man. You don't even have the parasites to deal with that, and you're gonna attract crazy parasites to process that shit. Yep. It's either gonna kill you, or you're gonna have to carry a crazy parasite to process that shit. Yeah.
And then your whole external world is just going to be so parasitic. Like,
yeah, because you're like a passenger in your own body at that point. Mm-hmm. And parasites just attract more parasites. Even if you look at ticks on their microscope, ticks have mites on them. It's like parasites just eat parasites that are getting eaten by parasites, like the constant thing. You know what I mean? It's like creation creates itself, God loves itself, or love loves itself and creates itself, and destruction and evil destroys itself and hates itself. Yeah. It's like the way things are supposed. It is what it is. Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I didn't speak up early because I was like feeling like in mourning. You know what I mean? About something else, and like.
I was just kind of digesting it all. I think I just I never jump too fast or say something too fast, because like you said, like they just. More and more comes out as the time goes, so it's like, I don't know. And then again, I just feel like, man, like whether I'm doing something on Instagram or not doesn't validate if I'm doing something outside of Instagram. Like, you don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm up to. But I mean, all I'm doing is breathing and fasting and, you know, going inwards. But either way, it's like, it's just this crazy like validation that people want from me.
Damn if you do.
Yeah, it's like. You guys should just get off Instagram and maybe close your eyes and see what's inside there.
Yeah.
Wild idea.
It was like, I think that like getting into breath work and all these things, like, it showed me early on, that was kind of the sadness of it. I was like, man, like, Black people got so much potential, but I don't know if they'll ever receive this, especially from me. And I don't see.
That's the hard part, yeah, from me.
And I don't see any Black people that are the image of value in the Black community that are doing breath work. Like if LeBron was doing breath work, then it could stick.
It would be wild, yeah, right.
It could stick. But if you get like the Black dude that doesn't look like he ever shot a jump shot, he doesn't look like he ever did those things, and he's not, he's not like that, it's not going to be valued the same. If he's not extremely good looking,
right?
Like it's like that's where we're at because it's so physical right now.
I was gonna say again, attached to the to this external.
Because there's there's Black people all over the world that know about breathwork and that are doing breathwork, but if they're not like LeBron or they're not like
status, they just don't have status.
Washington,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not gonna stick the same. So it's like that's the sad part about it. Like because I moved to the mountains. I mean, I got divorced a Black woman who has the same blood type as me, as our Black grandma, right? So like, and our mom. So like, I divorced a Black woman, and from that point on, I got more off the grid and more towards the breath work and more towards, the melanin, really.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it just showed me like how the sharp contrast here, where it's like, pretty much this is, for whatever reason, going to be associated with loftiness, whiteness, and also like it's tied into like this fear of, I think, living off the land because slavery and sharecropping. That might be deeply like
rooted in there. Yeah,
a fear inside of Black people because they feel like they've been oppressed for so long that they want to be out and be flamboyant and be recognized and be seen. And I can empathize. So for sure. I get that, but at the same time, like, ensure your sovereignty. Learn how to grow food. Learn how to, learn biology to know which food is consistent with your biology.
Yeah. Most people don't even know the organs in their body. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They know, I don't know, all these other irrelevant things, but don't even know where their kidneys are at.
Yeah. And grown people still calling their intestines their stomach.
Right.
It's like, it's just a crazy thing because you just don't have that being promoted. You don't have mechanics being promoted. You have Jordans being promoted who just got owned or had stake in for-profit prisons, and you're gonna buy his shoes still. Yeah, it's basically being part of the prison industrial complex. Yeah, and he left his Black wife and married a more pale person. And, you know what I mean? Like, it just, as far as like, with the way this shit's going, like, it's just like crazy. That,
and then the beauty industry alone, like all of it, man, it's just.
Yeah, that was the issue too. Like, I feel like with my ex-wife, I'd be like, man, like, you look so much better without a weave.
Yeah, and the nails and all of that.
Yeah, like, I definitely would rather a chick have the low cut or the dreads than a weave or a fro, than a weave or braids. Anything but that shit, man. Like, that shit looks stupid. You look better without it. I don't see why you trying to look Indian or white. Like, that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks silly. It looked like if I put an afro wig on, it shit looks silly. Like, you know what I mean? And it don't let your scalp breathe.
I was gonna say it's just harming your real hair.
Yeah.
And then you're never really catching it. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to love yourself fully. You just continue to suffocate yourself.
Yeah, I feel like that was a huge disconnect in the situation. I was just like, man, you don't need makeup like you think you do. And you get some natural makeup then or something. And you don't need that. And you don't need a weave because you're so much better looking without that shit.
Yeah. But it's a journey, I guess, for like everybody in different, I don't know, I don't know. I'm not trying to justify it, but I guess it's just, again, that it comes down to that attachment and detachment of like ego and self and being validated by other people and imagery and stuff. Because I know females are probably going to combat it with that. Like, well, there's so much pressure to look good and and whatever.
If you look good from the inside out, it's a different looking good. Somebody vibrant from the inside out.
But you have to do all that to get somebody. Like, what does that even say about that somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Yeah. If that's what's getting a mate, I don't know what you're building on.
That's the disheartening thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, as soon as I started going towards the things that I value and the things that are really pro-melanin and, like, being off the grid and stuff like that and being sovereign, then it was like less and less black people in my life. And I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sad because, like, I only knew black people my whole life.
I was going to say, that's all we grew up around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it be all our cousins or uncles or aunts or friends.
Your friends, everybody. It was all black people.
Yeah, so, like, I know, like, that's the most disheartening thing is that, like, black people are not looking for that, man. And it's like...
I think that's what's so crazy about being in Atlanta and seeing it kind of split, because you see some people kind of doing it, and then some black people just totally not there at all.
And the ones that get it, they be dope, though.
Man. Yeah. And they exist, you know what I'm saying? They're out here, but it's just, like, it's very, like, split. Like, being in such a heavily black city is just crazy to see it. Like, it's really split. You have some that fully get it, and some that are just like, which way do we go? You know what I'm saying?
It's just such a deep emotional attachment with the food, man.
It's crazy.
The food is really ruining it.
And I know nobody wants to hear that because it seems like such a, like, surface level thing, but it's what? It's going inside of you, for one.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, really, is something your slave if it doesn't need you to eat and you're not controlling what it eats?
Yeah, if you can't fast from it, you're a slave to it, first of all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you want to control a dog, you feed it something. If you want to control a horse, you give it sugar cubes or whatever. Starch, really. Yeah. So, like, that's the thing. Like, but I'm like, man, like, as far as being a slave, the first thing is controlling your food. And eating what's consistent with your biology. And if you can do that, then you're no longer a slave. Like, these deer and bear and shit, they don't need me, so they don't come and hang out with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
They eat what they're supposed to eat, and what's more in alignment with them. And they don't hang out with me. But my dogs, they hang out with me because they want the food I give them.
Yeah, they're dependent. Yeah.
Yeah, they're controlled, in a lot of ways. So it's like that's the thing. I think that is I guess paramount is like controlling your own food, but then you'll still have, even if black people was to get land, if they're still addicted, they're still going to be trying to raise chickens and cows and pigs,
right?
And stuff.
And that's, I guess, not like my fear, but I just hope like that doesn't, you know what I'm saying, like the message of get land, I hope that doesn't go along with that. Like, okay, yeah, we'll just make we'll have our own cows and our own, like, wait, hold on, that's not it's not what we're saying.
Yeah, because you got to feed, you got to grow food, you have to use land to grow food for the animals and use water for the animals that you could just use for humans and for plants that you eat. Yeah. So it'd be just much more abundance instead of like torching the land with the things that you're feeding them. Yeah. Grasses and grains and stuff. So it's like, really, if you really want to make a change, it's always going to start inside out. And if people was to, have their own land and growing food and fruit trees, it would really not take that long, man. It would
not
really,
at all.
2 to 5 years.
Not at all.
2 to 5 years, you would have abundance, as far as food and food that's good for you. And that you make yourself. Right. And that's the issue, I feel like. I feel like as long as people are dependent on the food, they're going to be dependent on the system. And then the system is going to keep consuming them. And they think they're consumers, but they're being consumed. Right. Right. That is true. And then just keep using the, their currency is just their energy, and it's just, It's not. It's your own energy going through them and coming back. It's like, wait. Let's just cut that middleman out. Yeah. But I guess that's that on that. We finally spoke our I guess whatever you want to say, our perspective on it. If you have anything else to go, that's all I got. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they're definitely picking and choosing how they're using the George Floyd thing, and it's definitely a fishy situation, all from top to bottom. Yeah, and without a doubt, it's definitely not black and white. If he is dead, no pun intended. If he is dead, then they used it for something. You know what I mean? They're definitely capitalizing on this.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not dead, then where do you think he went? You think Nipsey and a lot of people? Do you think they went into the upper realms and lower realms, past the Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis? You ever wonder that? Like,
yeah, man,
it's like leap years, man. Like Sevi died in 2016. It's like a leap year. It's like I think maybe there's a period in a leap year where you can. I think that's why it's called that. Is where you can go in or down.
Oh, maybe.
That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
it's possible. Like,
yeah, it's possible.
The way that these like great people died is just like, yeah.
Yeah, like Tupac died, and no fucking funeral, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing that I'm saying. Like, as far as that, as far as the realms and all of that, like, you could. That's very possible, but at the same time, you got like the Challenger mission. That whole crew, they just changed their names and moved somewhere else. None of them died.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the whole crew, and then like a few of them, they were like, "No, I'm the twin." Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's another insult to my intelligence. Like,
yeah,
three of y'all got twins, and they look exactly the same, and y'all still in the, you know what I mean, in America.
Boldly lying and stuff.
And so that happened in the late '80s, early '90s, or whatever. I forget. Mm-hmm. Challenger mission. It blew up, and they said all them people died inside of it, and then none of them died, and they all just went and got jobs under different names in different states, and so maybe motherfucker did just stay in. It's a lot of black people he probably looks like in the world. You know what I mean? It's like 1 billion black people. So maybe he could go to Angola or somewhere and fit in, and nobody know who he is. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Because that's where you have to take it, right? If he didn't do it, that's where the conspiracy got to go, right? Like, either he got burned and they sacrificed him as a ritual sacrifice, or either way, if he's dead, ritual sacrifice. Either way,
yeah.
If he's dead, parasites used that inside out. He had a parasite that walked him into that situation, and he was a passenger in his own body, and it was a ritual sacrifice. That if he's dead, that's what happened one way or another. So if he's not dead, only thing you can think of is he went to upper or lower realm. I would assume it'd be lower. And, you know what I mean, if you were doing shit like that.
Yeah.
If you're bamboozling this many people, I don't think you can go up.
No, I don't think that's allowed in the upwards.
So that's the only possibilities, is that he went up or down, he got ritually sacrificed, or he changed his name and he's somewhere else in the world. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Those are the three theories. That's it. Really, it's what they boil down to.
Yeah. Well, all right, y'all. I gotta jump off of here, but maybe we'll make a part 2 if any more craziness happens.
Oh, we mean when it does.
Yeah, right. I don't even know why I'm saying if. When? Probably like by this time next week. But yeah, all right.
Yeah, be easy out there, man. Be safe, man.
Always. You too, man.
All right, sure.
Bye.